The following contains footage of an M-rated game. Viewer discretion is advised.
So last time I talked to you about GTA 3, and as established, it's a good game, but it definitely has a lot of flaws that have shown with age. So after their first attempt, did Rockstar manage to surpass themselves with Vice City? Let's find out.
Tommy Vercetti? Didn't think they'd ever let him out.
He kept his head down, helps people forget.
We open up with some typical crime lords discussing a certain criminal being released from prison. That criminal is none other than our main protagonist, a non-mute but still psychopathic monster named Tommy Vercetti. They're worried that Tommy's presence will be bad for their businesses, so they plan a mission for him with the intent of it leading to his destruction. It fails, and we're supposed to get revenge on the criminals that Tommy thinks are responsible for it, I guess.
And I'm gonna mail you the dicks of those responsible.
And with that, we're free to do whatever we want. And by do whatever we want, I of course mean do the first thing you would do if you could do whatever you want.
License mine, here you go.
Once again, the radio stations are really cool this time, but I still can't play them to you due to copyright. But trust me, they're good, especially if you like the 80s. The next thing I want to bring up is the art style. GTA 3 had these sort of dreary skies that I personally didn't care for. I figure it was intended to make it feel more gray and real, but to me it just came off as bland. Vice City on the other hand has really nice colors, similar to that of a comic book. And even on cloudy days it looks nice. Not to mention those sunsets and sunrises. Another thing I found interesting was the two different cameras, Classic and Standard. Standard lets you move around with the mouse freely, and Classic sucks. Its camera movements are stiff and awkward, but the sad thing is that it actually does have a useful bit to it, the auto-aiming. This is something that's mainly used for robbing stores. You can just point your cursor over the guy to threaten him, but that's not as fun as pointing the gun at him and demanding the money. I just don't see why these two things had to be separate. There's no reason why you can't have the lock-on and free moving camera, so why not include the option? Nothing too severe, but it does feel like a missed opportunity. The Paramedics side mission is back, and it's actually more tolerable this time around. For one thing, they actually include a map system. The only real problem I had with it this time was how long it took. You have to go through 12 levels, and it has to be done in one sitting. This can get a tad cumbersome, but it's still worth it in the end. Locked doors are also back, and they're just as annoying and useless as ever. I mean, I know they were probably added to make it more realistic, but you are allowed to cut corners with realism when it comes to video games. I mean, just imagine if all cars had limited gas, and you had to stop by a gas station every so often. It'd be pretty annoying when you jack a car only to find out it's out of gas. They also added two new types of vehicles. In GTA 3 all we had were cars, as well as a plane that could fly only if you glitched it. Here we're introduced to helicopters and motorcycles. So first off, the motorcycles. My feelings towards them are mostly positive, but I do have a few complaints. Overall, I'm glad they have them because it makes traversing through alleyways much easier. Although there were a few things that bothered me a bit. For starters, you get knocked off like a lot. Now I'm not saying this shouldn't be part of it. It provides a bit more challenge to driving them and adds a bit of realism. However, I feel like it happens a bit too easily. There are times where you simply spin a little and get thrown off, and it gets kind of annoying. Although the only thing that really got to me was the off-road vehicle mission for it. Instead of Patriot Playground like in Grand Theft Auto 3, we get PCJ Playground, and I hate this mission. Come on. Dang it! Almost there. I hate this mission. I really do. As for the helicopters, I really like them. The learning curve for flying is a little steep, but you do get the hang of it after a while, and once you've got it, you've got it. It's like riding a bike, although landing them can be a little tricky sometimes. About halfway through the game, you'll be able to purchase assets. Once you complete the corresponding asset missions, you'll be able to start earning money from them, such as this printing press. But instead of printing comic books, it prints money. You can also purchase various other properties from the beginning, giving you extra save points, and a few of them give you extra places to store vehicles, which can be pretty handy at times. I also have to say I really like these Turismo-esque side missions you get from Sunshine Autos. You're like Turismo, except you aren't disqualified when you blow away the competition, so to speak. Screw the rules, I have a f***ing tank! I think my least favorite mission is probably the Malibu Club Acid mission known as The Driver. You have to race this douchebag nerd who gets a faster car than you while avoiding obstacles, and you have to deal with the wanted level for street racing, so you have to deal with the cops as well. But of course they completely ignore your competitor because, as we all know, it only takes one person to have a street race. Yeah, I really hated this mission. It just feels like you're lucking your way through it when you finally win. Granted, there are some things you can do to increase your chances, such as rear-ending him to send him spinning, but even then you're relying way too much on luck to make it happen. And you have to do this mission in order to get him to help you with the next mission, the job. And since he's so much harder to recruit compared to the other two guys you get a hold of for this mission, it stands to reason that it'll be the most useful of the three, right?
Hey guys! Get in! I got you covered!
As for my favorite mission, it'd be kinda hard to pick since there are so many, but Boomshine Saigon would definitely be up there. It's one of the few missions that feels like a legit challenge. One of the reoccurring problems with GTA missions that I experienced is that they're pretty simple and easy to get through, and when they're not, they usually end up being extremely frustrating. By either sending you through bullet hell, like in Hogtied, making you drive with unreasonable demands, like in the previously mentioned The Driver, or, God forbid, by giving you a really high wanted level, which is probably the most annoying since if you try to fight back, it only makes the problem worse, like scratching a bug bite. There's a little bit of risk versus reward in deciding whether or not to pick up fallen cash from someone you've killed, but that's it. However, with Boomshine Saigon, the challenge feels genuine. Basically, the premise is that a buddy of yours, known as Phil Cassidy, has gotten his arm blown off, and you need to drive him to a place to receive medical attention. But the catch is that you've been exposed to Boomshine, and as a result, you are driving drunk. Which, by the way, I do not advocate you do in real life. But the only effect, at least in game, is that the screen has gone all wonky. The effects are purely visual though, and you simply need to adjust to them, and doing so is fairly difficult. But at no point does it feel cheap because you're still producing the results, not pressing through until you get lucky. I liked most of the missions in this game, but I wish there were a few more that involved this kind of creativity. If you've seen my last review, you probably remember my little tirade on hostile gangs, so you're probably wondering if this game has them, and if so, have they improved upon them? The answer is yes, and kind of. There's only one hostile gang this time around, the Haitians, and they're just as annoying as the average hostile gang in the previous game. But there's only one this time around. Even better is that the mission that triggers their hostility is able to be put off for as long as you like, and you can make it your last mission if you want to. But at the same time, you're not going to know this unless you've already been informed of it. And once you do cause them to become hostile, there is still pretty much nothing you can do about it. I'm not sure how bad it gets since I saved it until the end, but I'm sure there are at least a few missions that become significantly more frustrating with them. So overall, it's a massive improvement over the original system, but it's not quite perfect yet. I also wanted to say that I really like the characters this time around. They're more memorable than the ones from GTA 3. Some of them are less sane than others, some of them are more sinister than others, and some of them are of more questionable intelligence than others.
You don't look like the law, so that's bought you a minute.
So after a good while, I managed to complete it 100%. And your reward for this is... something. That's right, you're actually given a reward this time. Your rewards are the following: an extra 50 points to your health and armor, unlimited ammo for your weapons, double vehicle strength for whatever you drive, the ability to hire 3 bodyguards for $1,000 each, although they're not very useful as they disappear if you don't keep an eye on them, and you get a shirt that says, "I completed Vice City and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." But yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I just listed 4 other things we get in addition, so that's a lie. Whatever. So that was Vice City. What are my overall thoughts? Well, hell, it's certainly not Vice shitty. But yeah, Vice City is a pretty good game. It's pretty much what I hoped for. The essentials of GTA 3 retooled a bit. There are still a few flaws here and there, but it's still good nonetheless. I guess if I had to say something negative, it'd be that it's a tad unpolished, such as with one glitch that I feel definitely should have been fixed. When you complete 2-bit hit before completing Copland and the job, one of your outfits is permanently sealed off from you. Fortunately, they fixed this in the iOS version, but older versions will still have it. So I think that about wraps things up, and I'll give you guys a hint as to what I'm planning on reviewing next.
Welcome to San Andreas, I'm CJ from Grove Street. Land of the heinous, gangbangers in cold heat. And Los Santos neighbors get no sleep. Beefing with anybody, competing, even police. 4 deep in the green rag with gold feet. Blast with the flag on the strap, that's OG. Stay in shape, hit the gym, lift the weights. Get super cutter, big and buff, nice and straight.